Upbeat music plays. OCALICON 2019. Sparkette Episode 1. Flat is Forgettable. A large warehouse. Watto illustration appears. Where's Courtney?
Hey Exhibitors, I am Courtney Yanis. I am the exhibitor manager for OCALICON, and I am here today at Fern's warehouse. And Fern is our official decorator for
Arrow
the
points to
conference,
Fern
so
logo
you will
on
be hearing
sign.
a lot about them in the months to come, and hearing from them as well as they send you some information about how to make the most of your experience at OCALICON. So I am coming to you today with our first episode of what we are calling Sparkette.
Sparkling Sparkette
Each month
logo.
you should be getting an edition of Spark, which is our digital newsletter exclusive for exhibitors. And Sparkette is going to be our supplemental video. And I'm going to come to you with recommendations and tips on how to make the most of your experience at OCALICON. So today I'm going to talk specifically about your physical booth space and what you're going to have at the conference and what that looks like and what do you not have. But also then how can you maximize it? And I'm going to give you 3 tips on ways that you can make the most of your experience. So first, when we talk about your booth and the actual space, if you bought a traditional 10 by 10 space,
Yellow
here's
arrows
what you're
point to
gonna get
areas
in
of
your
booth.
space. You will have 3-foot pipe and drape on each side if you have an interior aisle. If you're on the end, you'll have just the one side, and that's just partitions to separate each booth off. You'll have 8-foot pipe and drape behind you, and you'll also have a white banner above that has your organization's name and your booth number on it. That's just an easy way for folks to identify you. You can have additional signage if you want, but that's the basics that you get. You also get a 6-foot table that comes skirted. You'll get 2 chairs and a trash can and carpet. Now, if you want anything else beyond that, that's where you can get a copy of the Exhibitor Services Manual. You should have or will be getting in the coming weeks the Exhibitor Services Manual. It's an electronic PDF that will come directly from Fern. And what's in that manual features just what it says. It's a manual for exhibitors that provides the services you can additionally order to either get catering, buy electric, get additional Wi-Fi. If you want any furniture in your booth, that's where you can tap into those things. So 3 basic tips I'm going to provide for you today. Number 1, be strategic about your booth design. So when you think about your booth,
Illustration
don't
of a
just
bored
have
girl.
your simple table and then stand behind it for the few days of the show. It's not very inviting, and as they often say in the industry, flat is forgettable. So how can you be strategic about that design? Maybe you can position things differently. How can you make sure it's inviting and you're welcoming people in instead of kind of creating this visual barrier that limits the interactions with your attendees? So tip number 1, be strategic about your booth design. Tip number 2 is take advantage of the discounts.
Illustration
When you
of a
look at the
piggy
Exhibitor
bank.
Services Manual, you'll find that there is a discounted rate available for things like additional furniture, electrical. If you order by a certain deadline, you will get a discount. After the deadline, then it's full prices. So be sure to take advantage of those discounts and pay attention to those deadlines. They're all listed in the manual, so be sure to review them. The 3rd tip I'm going to offer is that you want to be sure if you do point of sales that you investigate the Wi-Fi and
symbol.
your compatible devices. Last year we had some exhibitors that experienced some challenges with that. You have free Wi-Fi in the exhibit hall that's available to everyone. But if you're going to do a high volume of sales for actual products that you're selling, what you want to be sure is to prevent the declines of your transactions. So that involves talking
Smart
to
City
Smart
logo.
City, that is the convention center internet provider, and that also is in the Exhibitor Services Manual, and they can provide you all the information you need to make sure that you capture those sales on site and that you don't run into any problems with things declining or having to do things online or to do them offline, and then you need to go back and do them online and you find out things are declined. So your 3 tips are: be strategic about your booth design. Tip number 2 is be sure to take advantage of discounts. And tip number 3 is be aware of the Wi-Fi and make sure you're not going to get any declines in your sales. So we want to make sure that you make the most of your experience at OCALICON. Reach out to me if you have any questions at any point.
Questions? Contact Courtney. Courtney_Yantis at ocali.org.
And you should be hearing from Fern in the coming weeks if you haven't already about your Exhibitor Services Manual. Be sure to look it over. Talk to me if you have any questions. But in that, you can get things like your electric. If you want to do catering, Maybe you want to provide some chocolate and chocolate covered bacon or whatever it may be.
Piggy bank. Did she just say bacon?
You can order that from the caterer as well. You can look at the internet. So there's a variety of vendors that you can deal with from there. And then lastly, save the date for October 29th at 12 p.m. Eastern. I'm going to host an exclusive webinar for our exhibitors to prepare you for everything that you're going to do on site. Where to check in, how to unload, getting your dock passes so that you can unload, where to park, all of those details. So be sure to save that date. I'll send out more information on how to link for that. So thanks for joining us today, and we'll see you next month for our next issue of Sparkette.
OCALICON 2019, November 20th through the 22nd, 2019. Columbus, Ohio. OCALICON.org. Music provided by bensound.org.